Let's get talking, everyone. 2027 is just ahead of us. We understand that by tomorrow, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, would have flagged off officially campaigns for political parties and all the actors in light of the next round of general elections. What will change this time? Is it the narrative? Is it the rhetoric? Is it the manifestos of these different political parties? Especially now that the opposition says generally its goal is to ensure that President Bola Tinubu does not return to Aso for a second term in office in 2027. However, what lessons do we also draw from the election that just took place in Osun this past weekend, as it has to do with the next big one, which is in front of us? On the one hand, many people say, let's be fair, INEC has done amazingly well this time compared to the last few outings, especially in places like Edo and Ekiti. Does that have any implication for 2027? What specifically and in what particular ways will it shape the next big round of polls in our dear country, Nigeria? This morning, I'm joined by a man who has one leg in civil society and the other in mainstream politics, Honorable Destiny Enabulele, former council chairman, and of course, here he is to talk about all of these issues. Very good morning, and it's a pleasure to have you on the program again.
Thank you for having me. And good morning, viewers at home. What amazed me this morning,
right?
I have my one leg in civil society.
And one in politics, yes. For some of us, we are only now we know that both legs are in two different places, but we're now concerned as to at what point will one leg join the other, or is this going to perpetually remain the way it is? We're not so sure.
No, it's not going to perpetually remain where it is, because whether you like it or not, man by nature is a political animal.
Of course.
You cannot say you are not participating in the process that determines your tomorrow, your destiny.
Right.
So for you not to participate, you are invariably mortgaging your future, thereby allowing, with utmost humility, charlatan to preside over. And you continuously complaining. So it's better all of us participate, be a participant. So therefore, the more the merrier.
Right.
So what has put us in this conundrum, if you cast your mind back at the very birthing of this democracy, was that our professors, our PhD holders, our industrialists, those that have something upstairs, they thought that the military wasn't going to hand over. Again, it happens in 1992 or thereabout. They did not. But then they see those that they, according to one of my English teacher in the secondary school, they never do well. They occupy the space. For you not to exit them is liking to, passing WAEC without having D7.
Okay, well, yeah, I know where that sarcasm is heading, but let's stop it before it starts at all. So I want us to talk about Osun State, because incidentally, just a few days ago, you were also on this platform. We had pre-election sort of analysis. Now it's 3 days after the polls. Of course, we know what the results are saying, all thanks to INEC. What are your thoughts at this point in time compared to what your opinions were before the election?
You see, my opinion still remains the same. You know me, I'm a realist. I'm, not very comfortable when I hear people giving flowers to INEC.
But they didn't buy those flowers with your money, did they?
I said I'm not comfortable when people, the likes of you.
So you think they don't deserve? I was referencing public opinion.
I have listened.
Not my position.
I have listened to some commentators. I think they have allowed themselves to be bamboozled by this wish cream put up by INEC. I must be very frank. You may mention in your intro, you made mention of the show of shame that happened in Edo, a bit coordinated by.
But these were not my words. I just said there were elections in Edo and Ekiti. So is it your opinion that it was a show of shame? Maybe that's a discussion for another time.
You are a suspect this morning. But I will allow that. I understand your fear. So I will allow that. You see, the point is this, which is very clear. The issue that happened in Edo, if you cast your mind back, pre and the election proper, and in comparison with that of what happened in Osun, put together from the last account, it's about, if I'm not mistaken, approximately about 40 persons lost their lives. Would you say that was a free and fair election?
So you were looking forward to an exercise where there will be no incidences.
Seamlessly.
So that,
I was in United Kingdom in their last local council election. Myself and my in-law, we drove to a certain school to pick the child, and there was election ongoing. Without you just see it. These are supposed to be our colonial master, which ordinarily that ought to be a topic for another day. There's a saying in my very rich Benin language, and you are one that no man are you. It's a man that teach you how to sing that invariably you definitely sing like that person. But oftentimes I get to look at what is happening across the length and breadth of this country, the structure, a resemblance. We're not in any way a resemblance to the United Kingdom. We're not in any way, both in structure, both the way our Scandinavian nature, we're not conservative. We are too loud, we are bogus. We want to, I don't know, we are trying to whether to mimic or to tailor our system, that of United States of America. But let's look at it again. The United States of America, they run the presidential system of government. Can you and I say, to be very frank, without you trying to be journalistic this morning?
But I'm a journalist.
I understand, but that's a topic for another day. That our in terms of our governance structure, is there any resemblance to that of presidential system? It's not even.
We can debate that all night.
We can't.
But is a presidential system, whether or not it is as effective as it ought to be, is now a subject.
It's not the presidential system. There are rules and regulations related to presidential system, where every segment account and do pay tithe and offering, and the center is being saddled with the responsibility of foreign policies and territorial, security. About a year ago, I engaged a professor of governance from the University of Benin. He told me, he said, "Destiny, Honorable, even me, I'm confused. I don't know whether Kwasi or whatever. We are confused. We're trying to come up with the system of government we are running." And you've heard from statesmen of this country, like Ambassador, is advocating that we need to come up with a structure or a system of government that works for us. We need to, whether Afri democracy or whatever.
But I mean, instinctively, I'm tempted to ask, at what point, for example, now that you mentioned it, did the former president realize that we need to review our system of government, because he was there for 8 years?
Because I made mention of it, that doesn't say I should give him flower. You know me, I'm a realist.
You're very conservative with your flowers.
I'm very careful, because once I give it to you, you won't see me tomorrow castigating you.
Right.
That is why I love this line. From Things Fall Apart, when Ogbuefi was, admonishing Okonkwo.
Right.
He said, "That boy calls your father. Do not have a hand in his death." So what I create, or rather what I build, I hardly go against it. That is my principle in life. No matter how dirty, no matter how, if you recall, your present deputy governor, who is my cousin, we grew up together. Even when he removed me with the help of the Badgers from the House of Assembly after spending 6 months. I did not, even when person says I should do a petition. I only do my approach, my lawyer, for me personally, to do a petition. I did not personally, but some organizations, NGO, because I have that background, they were touched and they did the petitions and all of that. But as a person, I did not, because that line still rings. I'm very. It's my guiding principles. I'm very careful when I don't attack what I want to
take you back to Oshu.
Yes.
If you look at the election, yes, I know you have your concerns about Inec and the conduct of this election and the previous ones. On a scale of 10, how do you rank Osun State's governorship election?
On a scale of 10?
10, right.
2.
Okay, that sounds like an abysmal failure.
To me, it is an abysmal failure, because I didn't start with all of that. You see, when a father, and whether it was this platform, I said it, a father and a supposed leader says that election is not served a la carte. You must grab it and you must run with it. That is that is detrimental, and it is demarketing a nation before the international community. Again, when a supposed leader and a father says that all is fair in politics, again, got to show the desperation and the despicable manner that they are all out to grab power by force, hook, line, and sinker. So for me, with these two, for me, I find it difficult to give them until otherwise.
Did you have the inkling that Adeleke would emerge the winner in this election?
Seriously, I must be very frank.
So you were
I was
confident
very optimistic that he will win, but I was afraid of the federal might. Having been a participant of the Edo 2024 election. So I don't know whether it's this platform again. I said what President Tinubu and his co-travelers cannot do in terms of politics and politicking does not exist. Well, I don't know whether it was this platform.
But again, we're hearing now from Grapevine that the president was aloof, he was neutral in this process. Do you share that position?
I wrote an article a few days ago that you must exonerate the president, but the presidency is culpable.
What's the difference? The person and the office?
So I leave you to cross the T's and dot the I's. I leave it at that. I will send you the article so you go to maybe be able to on your own pass your own judgment. I will leave it at that. I will comment further. You see, what has happened, let us be very frank with ourselves. You see, when the people resolved that this is where we are going, and I must this morning give all my flowers to the Osun people for their resilience, for their dexterity, and above all, for their doggedness. You see, the state that if not because I would have said, okay, I'm not an indigene of Osun. God, that it's like they've been my students.
I'm sure there's a process for doing that.
You
want to talk to your lawyers about it?
I would definitely do that. It's like they have been my students. Perhaps they have been following my outing. I have always advocated that as 2027 draws near, and as we all go out to gym every week, we must set aside 1 hour to practice madness in preparation for 2027. Once that is achieved, you can discard the madness. The madness is not going to take us to a psychiatric home. It's for a purpose. Once that is achieved, because oftentimes we are always fervent about the destination, not knowing that there's a journey that will take us to that destination. Osun people, they have displayed that indeed they were very conscious of the journey and the focus was the destination.
I want to ask you something about Osun
Yes.
still. It's virtually 2-year interval between Edo last election and one of Osun that just concluded a few days ago. Incidentally, in Edo, APC won. In Osun, Accord won. What do you attribute this dynamic to? Is it because, to use your words, Osun people are particularly resilient and Edo people are not, or Osun people are more electorally informed than the people in Edo? Because again, it appears this is more about the people than any other factor.
You see, what I have deduced from this whole thing, the Osun, they are more rural. You saw the electoral participation. So I think the voting strength of Osun is about 2 million plus or thereabout, or like that of Edo.
All right.
But you saw the turnout. It was quite encouraging. Very, very.
So
very
Edo people have a lot to learn from Osun.
and not only that, they all came out with some very reasonable numbers. They followed through. I had a video where the people policed, guide their vote to the collating center from their ward to local government collating center. They followed through. So for me, that is rare. For me, that is unprecedented. And again, it is a red flag to the umpires. I must be very frank. It's a red flag.
Inec now.
Yes. You see, when trust is lost, the people now take, the bull by the horn to do the extraordinary, to make sure that they protect what they believe in. That's exactly what happened in Australia.
But is it fair that you will be railing against INEC this much, given that, you just talked about when trust is lost, but there's also a process, we understand, for rebuilding trust. Does it not occur to you that this is probably INEC beginning that process to say, look, we've got to rebuild trust with the people? Perhaps Oshun is a wonderful opportunity to start that process.
You know, I said something, Justin. I said, until I have been convinced beyond reasonable doubt. You see, I don't have a problem. My wife said I have a problem. I'm too realistic. I have a problem that I'm not fit to be in politics. And I told her that, look, yes, but I have looked at it. You can't just leave the stage when I know that they will decide my tomorrow and the future of my children. And there's a fundamental problem. And when my children grown up, they're going to ask me, Daddy, why did you just leave it and why did you not participate? It is good that what we are doing now, years to come, my children will just do Google. They will see it and say, my dad indeed contributed. And is that just, it's likened to that in the legislation, in democracy, you see, there's a saying that minority will have their say, majority will have their way. So it's usually like that. They say, yeah, they'll definitely, when the time comes, they will give me my flowers. So for me, have you asked yourself, from the records, there were some certain result sheets that were missing. At the point of the collation, if you looked at, I followed it up. At the point, the server was shut down. At the point, and I asked a question in the platform that will belong, that they should help me confirm whether it was shut down. And they said it was on, they went on break. So even at that, if you look at the process so far, and many have written, articles, essays, that one of the principalities and powers formed against Nigerian progressing is the Inec, and the other one is judiciary. It's too early in the day to begin to give them that. So that's my fear. It's too early in the day. So this might just be a kind of a small screen to bamboozle Nigerians, to deceive Nigerians for 2027. See what these men that are running Nigerians in Aso Rock, what they cannot do does not exist.
Somebody watching now, especially those who have followed your engagements on television,
yes,
of course, public discourse for a while, will say, hold on a second. Honorable Enabulele is just talking because his favorite party is not in power. And I'll give you an example. Last I checked, unless something has changed in between, you were, at least in principle, a member of the ADC, or at least a supporter of the ADC.
No.
You are a fan of Atiku Abubakar, the former
president. No, I've never been a fan.
Unless that again.
No, no.
But I also know you were a member of the PDP at the point.
No, let me
led the PDP.
No, let me tell you.
So for the records,
let me get the records. Yes, for the records.
Right.
I'm still a member of the People's Democratic Party.
Which of the factions?
The national chairman's faction.
Who is the national chairman of
you and I know. You and I know. Turaki-led faction. Let me put it that way.
And that's what dramatic.
You see, I understand. Perhaps you must have seen me in ADC convention where they had their convention.
Right.
There was one of my associate firm that Oseaneni. You know him very well. We managed Ayatudin's campaign. So our firm, in collaboration, managed Ayatudin and happens to be a member. So we managed his campaign during the primaries.
For the ticket?
Yeah, for the ticket. So that's why perhaps you must have seen me in one or two. So I'm not as if, you see, for me, I am not a fan of Atiku. It's very obvious. You ask me why. You see, I can't trust a man whose words cannot vouch for their father. That is the gospel truth.
Is it because he has been in and out of the PDP?
Not because he has been. I said whose children cannot vouch for their father, whose children cannot stick their neck for their father.
How is that?
You see, you know why the only respect or kind of love I have for Tinubu is because of Sheyi, the son. I must be very frank with you. I love Sheyi. Not as a friend. I love him for what he's doing for the father. He's going all out for the father. If my father was to be alive and he's going for ordinary local government chairman, I would do same. You knew what I did for my cousin. I same. If I believe in a process, in a movement, I stick my neck. That is me for you. You knew what happened during our very respected Aswe Lime. I was neck deep from the very betting of that movement till Supreme Court. Even 2 days ago, 3 days ago, we spoke. So for me, that is me for you. That's why the only I have for Tinubu is because of she, with utmost humility. So for Atiku, that's why I said I have my reservation. And the only love again, why I decided to, for the last a month or 2 months, I've written quite about 5-6 articles for Ademola Adeleke because of my very good brother, younger brother, Davido. No, that is because I love them. You see, that's what I honorably, if I have to be their shoe, I would do same. But let's just look at Atiku. You are vying for the number one, job of this country. Your son is in the other. Some person will have an argument. It's an adult. For me, I have my own reservation.
But it's a democracy.
That's why I'm saying I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that.
And these things have to do with conviction.
I'm not disputing that.
But you have a problem.
If your father, right. If you cannot, if your conviction cannot say it for your father, then for me, who else conviction? But for me, I have my.
But is it not double standard? Because in the US, for example, we see a man aligning with the Democrats, another one pitches tent with Republicans. I would say it's fine.
Not when we are saying man, you see, when we are talking, let's put it this way. Let's assume tomorrow Atiku emerge as the president. Will the son lock himself out of the bounty? When I say bounty, you understand, from the largesse
of office.
Let me be very sincere. Even if tomorrow I decide to stick my neck and get all the bass boosts, and when he eventually gets there, the son before me. You have a problem. You can't reap where you did not sow. If you cannot take hold, if you cannot coordinate your house, then I'm not talking about president here. I'm not talking about councillor or local government chairman. When I ran for local government, my community, my family, ordinarily they were very apolitical because of me and my father's name. They are lying. If you don't believe in the process, there's a problem. Your son, my brother, I'm not here to discuss about. Before now, I have a bet for me. I'm a PDP. I'm a PDP. You know, before now, we have canvassed and we have admonished and we have advised all opposition leaders. There's the need for them to form a formidable front. I'm a member of the G100. The need for them to form. See, if they go the way they are going, I tell you, before noon on that election day, they're already doing Glenn.
With a big if. That's a conditional clause.
That's definitely, because the way the opposition's leaders are going now, perhaps they just want to have their portraits as a campaign. So for me, I'm not comfortable with it. Because if you see, we must learn from history. It was Cicero that once said, for a child not to know what happened before his death, it is to repeat the mistakes of the father, or perhaps to go the ways of the father. So that is. So they need to go back. But see, whether you like it or not, you can't take that from Jagaban. He's a political colossus. He's an enigma when it comes to politics and politicking. You saw what happened at the very beginning of APC. He discovered that, yes, the time is not ripe for me. Let me look for someone that have the political leverage or capital with street credibility. He brought in Buhari. Ordinarily, it is likened to, water and oil. It's not possible for them to mix together. Because of his own focus, he has a destination. He believes that I must be very concerned with the journey. For me to achieve that destination, the journey is very sacrosanct. He brought in Buhari. Buhari cleared the way. And when he says, well, Emiloko, it is my turn. I have done it for you, SYZ. It's now my turn. And indeed, even when there was, a gang up in the presidency against him, with the coloration of the Naira, still, he was able to meander and find his way in the presidency, which our brother Emefiele is paying the bitter price. So for me, we must give it to him. So they must look at him, whether you are a godfather or you've been politics since 1962 or since 1992. If you know that Destiny will be able to gather the street credibility to give the opposition the desired success, as a leader, as a father, there's nothing stop you from saying, okay, yeah, my boy, I know you can do it. Come, I'm not in any way saying Atiku cannot gather the needed street credibility. But I'm just saying for posterity and for although there are no morality or the ID thing in politics. There are no, yeah, that is the gospel truth.
No ethics.
No ethics in politics. So whatever, that's why you will say that anything is possible in politics.
When you look at a show now, which is, the immediate point of reference, what are you learning? What has been highlighted to you from the opposition point of things?
You see, one thing I have taken away from Osun, which is simple, it is for you to be able to connect with your people. And again, the celebrity question that you cannot discard.
So that was a factor in the selection.
It was a serious factor. I told you, for me, I had some persons ordinarily I have not met, up to about 6 or 7 from Osun, sending me informations. I'll show you my WhatsApp. Informations. Ordinarily. He said, I read your article. That was fantastic. That's why I got your number, because I only attach my number to my articles. Ordinarily, I have not met them. Because of Davido. Because all the songs in my house, they're all Davido. I love him because of his simplicity, his humility. Because that's my person. A guy that was going to wealth. It's like into our Lord Jesus Christ. You know that he was dead, but he was still with the ordinary people. He never equated himself to be God. Say, I'm the Son of God. Through me, you can see the Father. So for me, that's what enjoyed me to Ademola Adeleke. And I did. I can tell you that I'll be able to pull up to about, if I'm not mistaken, close to 100 votes for Adeleke. From Edo, from Abuja. So that is it. The issue of, you see, in the coming days, you will see these persons that want to vie for the #1 seat, but now trying to be wooing celebrities to their own side. It's a factor, and it was a factor. And again, the man Ademola Adeleke has a very rooted connection with the ordinary people. Perhaps, you know our people, see, again, our people don't need for bogus things. They just need the basics. From what I gather, that he was paying salaries as and when due, unlike the 2 governors before him. They pay halves and so to speak, paying pensions, arrears, and all of that. And again, his dancing skills. I will love him. You know the rural people. They don't need you to go and build them castle. They don't need your shawarma. What they don't need that eba and a gusi. They don't need shawarma. It's because our politicians, they are living there, they've so disconnected themselves from the people. That's why they're finding it difficult. So, an Adeleke family is a family that you cannot just push away with it's not difficult. It's going to be that very, very Herculean for you to just say. It's going to be very difficult for you, because I will discover that their father was a senator. Even their brother, or whether their other brother or something, so to speak, was former governor in 1992 and all of that. And this present one was former senator, and so they have a lineage of political inclination. And
so there's a history to their
There's a history.
We're going to take a break shortly, but let me ask you this. Are you impressed with the outing that the opposition put up in Osun this last weekend?
To be very frank with you, yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, because at the very end, there was some defections and alignment and realignment with the accord. No, because it took them that far for them to realize. You see, when you know that your enemy has some very unimaginable potency, you prepare, because desperate time requires desperate measure. That is my point. And that's my message to Nigeria this morning. So for me, it was becoming too late. If not for the political potency of the government and governor in power, vis-a-vis the family, it will be very difficult. And again, President Tinubu is aware that that is his own ancestral, take it or leave it, it's his own ancestral home. He cannot desecrate or dehumanize his people. I know Tinubu, he cannot do that. So he was very mild. I use the word, careful with federal mind. That's why I said that exonerate the president, but you
can't take away the presidency.
But you can't take away the presidency. It was deliberate. So he's aware. It's not with humility. It's not that. I wanted to use a word because it's not that man that doesn't know his home that want to throw stone in his house. It's not that kind of a person. He was very cautious. He was very meticulous. He was very diplomatic.
If it was another state,
he would have deployed.
Do you think he would have been?
No, he would have deployed. No, it would have likened to. No, he would have deployed. So having said that, all is fair in politics. You know what happened in Edo? Take it or leave it. PDP won that election overwhelmingly. I can tell you, I can stay before our Lord Jesus Christ to say it. I can stay before even the traditional law to say it. He will say, if you say lie to kill you tomorrow, I will say it. So you saw the way they commandeer, they stormed Oredo, Ego, and Ikpobaha. That's the local government collective.
In the
case of Edo, they commandeer them. So for me, if it were to be another state, it would have. So let me.
Do you think the victory of Adeleke and the Accord Party in Osun makes it easier for opposition in 2027?
If they are thinking that way, they are daydreaming. They better get off from that nightmare.
Oh, it's not even a dream; it's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. If they are thinking that way, it's a nightmare. They are daydreaming. They better get up. Better sit up. They must form a formidable front. I'm an opposition. I'm a PDP till tomorrow. I'm very proud of it. The dry bones shall rise again. I'm a PDP. And I'm not hungry. What I'm looking for is money for, well, it's between me and you. Maybe you will show me the way to.
Are members of the party taking your group of the PDP seriously? I mean, the Turaki-led side of things. Because it looks like everybody's talking about the wicked end.
You see, everybody talking about the wicked end, and you and I know why. So, Shomole, the former governor of Edo State, now a senator, says something that is a man that has a corn that the fowl or the hen or the cock will go after. In politics. So there are some persons, majority, they are in that category that believes on what can I get? That is it. So majority of us, I don't want to say leaders, us, the electorate, they are not particular party members this time. They are not bothered about winning in election. It's what they can get from that electionary process. When I say what they can get, their pocket. They are not necessarily on whether the candidate or the party wins. The majority, to be very frank. So those that find themselves in my other brother, the Yendeba of Abuja, they belong to that category. That is a gospel truth. Stomach infrastructure. Anywhere belief is, like politicians. For some of us that still remain PDP, are the people that believe in the tenet, in letter of PDP. I still remain.
All right, we're taking a break at this point, everyone. We'll come back shortly, and when we return, we'll be looking at the issues that have now been flagged by observers from the United Kingdom during this last election in Osun. One of them, they say, is the beavers. The other, they also talked about accessibility issue. And the third is vote buying, which has become a monster in our electoral process in this country. Do stay with us. By some assessment, will be referred to as a country that practices money bag democracy. Apparently, that's a bad tag. But Osho election just 3 days ago has once again highlighted that very dreadful phenomenon. I'd like us to talk about it because by Saturday morning, newspapers, at least a handful of them, had talked about how that there had been a 20,000 naira, if you like, transaction between Accord and the APC. Some people even said, even though Skyline News has not authoritatively or independently verified that, look, at a point they had raised it to as high as 30,000 to 40,000. So I jokingly asked a guest, was it a competition with the minimum wage? But again, my real question is, how do we address this issue of vote buying?
Mr. Oyi, I think you're missing it, or perhaps your informant wasn't accurate.
Well, because I was not part of the process.
They pay up to 50,000 naira a vote.
Okay.
Especially
in this instant case.
Yes, they pay up to 50,000 naira, but not with the opposition, but with the main.
The main party.
At time I asked, was CBN now in Oshun? They were all brand new.
Oh, this was done cash.
Brand new. I have some videos, brand new. So for us, and they were not calling it vote trading.
Not buying.
So as you can see, we are gradually.
Sounds like the stock exchange.
Yeah, we are now metamorphosing, and we are climbing the ladder.
For all the wrong reasons.
For the wrong reasons. You see, you can see that's got to show the level of desperation and the failure in the system. You see, over time we weaponize poverty. You see, when the people are hungry and you dangle 5 kg, many will run after it. That's exactly what is happening. See, if you want to dehumanize a man, starve him of food. You saw the policy the Nigerian deployed between the Nigerian and the Civil War. They said it was sold by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the late sage of blessed memory. That he said, you cannot feed your enemy. And they denied them of
access to food
and
essentials
and all of that. There was a kwashoko.
So at that point, you didn't even have to fight.
You didn't have to fight. They can even go begging even for your urine.
So nature will do its work.
Nature will do its course. So they are aware. That's why some of us are not comfortable with these ruiners in Abuja. This ruination must stop. We are not comfortable. As we speak in this country, there are no middle class. It's either you are rich or you are poor. A nation where inflation is about 30%.
But we
about 140 in neck deep in poverty.
But we understand that the figure now stands at in the neighborhood of 15%.
I've not seen it.
That's according to the NBS. So you probably can look it up on their website.
I will.
They have that data there.
You see, again, we have a problem of data. We have a problem.
When you say problem of data, is it access to it or authenticity of it? Or credibility of it?
Both. Credibility, access to it, authenticity. When last did we conduct a census in this country?
20 years ago.
So, who is telling us that we are about how many millions?
But they said
where they get the figures from?
They said they're extrapolating based on the last census, even though there is urgent needs for another.
How did they arrive at that extrapolation? That is, see, for me, if we're to be a nation where all connects, if we're to be a United Kingdom or US where you have all the indices, every sector working, and data are connecting, I will say okay. But you and I know, in the rural, like in Gobazowa, where I hail from, the general hospital there don't even work. It was when I was a local government chairman that I gave them borehole. So in this section, they don't like borehole. They don't like water. At the time when they had all these general water supply, these what they call them, water board. But you and I know, since I was in kindergarten, I think I was in primary 5 or thereabout when the water stopped.
That's in your village.
In my village, that's when I gave them.
But I guess it was still running in Benin City at that time.
No, okay, I guess
city center.
I guess yes. Right. In my grandfather's house in Siloko Road, yes, same. You are right. But you and I know, majority of all of our rurals
had been cut off.
So for me, when you are talking about census or talking about numbers, how do you arrive at it? People in the Gopa Zone, where are they from? How? Is there a central where the people go to give birth and they immediately, electronically send it to the central coordinating? No. Where there you have the traditional bed attendants, the TBS.
And they are not captured.
The TBA, they are not captured. And then the death. Do we have records of the death? Do we? Ask me. Mr. Oyi. I don't know.
Well, for those who
with this
for those who are diseased in hospitals, I'm sure we have those.
For those, how many of us in hospitals? Those are the bourgeois. For people like us, rest in peace quietly. Accident, Boko Haram, terrorists, and whatever.
But these are factors.
Accidents.
These are phenomena that affect everybody across board. We're seeing those cases real time. I mean, evidence about.
But the point I'm saying, how do you now aggregate it? That's the point. To be able to say, okay, so year or so time or this quarter, these people exited and this set up.
And make the information scientific.
Beautiful. That's my point.
I want us to talk about your G100. I mean, you are a part of it, no matter the level at which you're playing. I mean, you're a part of it. You are interested in it. You believe in it. I mean, like you said a while ago, if all else is equal, if the right thing is done, if the stakeholders are committed to the process, a lot can change by 2027. But again, there are people who think this is just another wild goose chase, isn't it?
You see, there's a saying that the taste of the pudding is in the eating.
That's when the pudding has been cooked.
I'll take you on that, or not now. You see, what we are doing, we are just concerned.
Okay.
It's not because we are in a political purgatory. No. We are concerned. I'm a father. I'm a son to a mother. I still have mother, about 70-something years old. I have sisters, though I have some that are in abroad. You see, there's a saying that when a single person is rich in a community, he's still poor.
The entire community is still poor.
He's still poor. It's likened to a dwarf competing which one is taller. I'm a dwarf. You are a dwarf. I say, well, it's still a dwarf. That's my problem. You and I know as we speak, just as put it by, let me re-echo again, Professor Patrick's, that we're in a funeral and we must learn to speak the language of a funeral in funeral. That's why we are out. To let our leaders in the opposition, perhaps they've forgotten, to reawaken their consciousness, drawing the APC formation vis-a-vis the Jagaban, and letting them know the reality. That look, it's a stark reality. This one we are speaking wedding language in funeral is an aberration. That's what we are out to do. We're not going to compare. We don't have such power to commandeer, according to my grandmother, anybody. We'll sell the idea to them. We'll let them know, we'll expose them. Because on our own, we have done how will I put it? A research assessment in terms of candidate popularity, because on our own, try to sample citizens.
Are you doing that based on polls? Are you using polls?
Oh, polls. We are using polls.
Public polls.
But yes, we are reaching out. We expose them to it. It's not as if we just sat down and we try to fabricate. This is the reality on ground. And again, very soon, from tomorrow, they will be engaging the streets. It will be done on them. That what this G100 are telling us. My brother, I enter keke in this Abuja. Even when I'm in Benin, I'll call my wife. If you want me to come, I'll put on this. I'll call my wife. At times I will leave my house, enter keke, just to sample people's opinion. There was a day one guy saw me say, Chairman, what are you doing here? I said, what do you do here? He said, are you not a human being? He said, no. And I pay for everybody. That's me. The reality it is revealing. So the opposition leaders, if indeed they are sincere with us, with Nigerians, they must do everything humanly, politically, economically, security-wise possible to form a formidable front. That is our message. Form a formidable. We are not saying this step for this. If you know that you can bring in your political capital to support a man that you believe that doesn't have street credibility, because you have street credibility, you have the political capital, well and good. If you believe that, okay, the man that has the street credibility, but you have the political capital to support the man that has the, well and good. We are not.
But there has to be a consensus.
There has to be a consensus. If the way they are going, if they should embrace and romance the coming election like this, I tell you, by 12 noon, they already do it at 35 years glare in Asoro.
Well, politicians on 12 on election day, they are like CMS twins. But I'd like to say a big thank you to you.
Always my pleasure.
For always coming to share all of this.
Always my pleasure, my brother.
Here on the program. I'll be talking to Destiny Enabulele, the former council chairman of your Southwest.
Leave the council chairman. I'm just Destiny Enabulele.
Government in Edo State, and he also had his own stint at the House of Assembly, still in Edo State. We're taking a quick break. When we return, we'll wrap up the program for you. It's still the morning call here on Skyline News.